Rolando, let's do some opera confessions. And let's begin with the beginning. What was your first big opera experience?
It's two answers to the question. My first opera experience was Aida in a massive production in a, like in a stadium or something. And they had real animals coming and real elephants
But you
coming
were
in.
little.
There I was, or maybe 15 or something like that. So that was a complete opera. Is the first time I saw it, and I have to say, as impressed as I was about the animals, I was not. The whole thing didn't really capture me the way later on opera captured my interest, and I think my first then really opera that went into my heart, the one I prepared for, and that really still stays with me, is Tosca in El Palacio de Bellas Artes in Mexico with Lima, the tenor singing. And it was fantastic. And I mean, but I listened to a Carreras recording of Tosca.
And how old were you?
I mean, there I was older. There's a tenor singing, maybe 19 or something like that. Yeah, 19 or 20.
And you suddenly decided to have voice lessons. How did it happen, that willing of entering into this business?
Well, that, again, then it's earlier, because at 12, I received an LP from Plácido Domingo, singing love songs with John Denver. And I loved that LP. I didn't know anything about opera, but I tried to sing like this wonderful singer. And so he became immediately an idol of mine. And I kept singing and learning these songs. And later on, I mean, two important things happened. I was singing in the shower one evening, and
So your neighbors, I'm sure they were very happy.
Well,
and
I
your
don't know,
family.
because I'm not sure somebody at 13 trying to sing like Plácido Domingo was very nice to listen to. But the neighbors had a dinner, and one of the guests was the director of a school for arts, for performing arts.
Wow.
And he came and knocked at the door,
Wow.
and my mother said yes. Somebody singing in the shower. And my mother said, yes, I will tell him to shut up. I know it's a little bit late. He says, no, I'm the director of this school, and maybe he wants to come and audition. And I went, and then I spent like a year and a half in this school. That was extremely important for me and my hunger of becoming a person on stage. And then also singing in the school, in one of these school events, I was singing Man of La Mancha, Impossible Dream, and Granada. And in the audience, there was a baritone, the father of one of the kids also performing piano, Arturo Nieto. He heard me and he said, you could be an opera singer. And I started taking lessons with him. And from there, then, I discovered how difficult it was to learn opera. I left it, I came back, and finally I made my decision once high school was over to enter the National Conservatory, and I went completely full committed to study opera.
Why do people go crazy about opera, or just hate it? Why these strong emotions?
Yeah, there is something very passionate about opera. I always say that opera is like a stage for the subconscious. Yeah. And what we see on stage is not really a king and the daughter of a king speaking, but it's what's inside of the king and inside of the daughter. It's what is inside of Rodolfo and inside of Mimi. And that's why these emotions come with violins, and they come with long phrases. That's why a singer repeats a phrase over and over, just like it happens in our heads. And I think that's how people relate very much. Then there is an athletic part of it, which is more superficial, I have to say. And a lot of the audience loves that athletic part of the voice.
Virtuosity.
It's more than virtuosity. It's really an athletic part of it. It's a voice that knows how to jump high, how to run fast, how to make a decrescendo. And once you know these things, those are physical achievements. Yeah. And that's really the achievements of an athlete. So there's two interests, the athletic interest and the artistic interest. The more you concentrate in the artistic part of it, the more you will love opera as a human experience, as a triumph of the human spirit.
And when you're staging, because you're such a multi-talented super divo, when you're staging, what is your main mission? you really have to fulfill?
Well, I mean, that to create a contact with everybody involved, all the artists involved, all the people in the theater involved, and of course with the audience. It's to serve the music and it's to serve the drama in a way that can speak to us in today, 2017, or whatever the year we are. But you know, in our times, that doesn't mean that you have to put it in our days, but it has to have a visual language that speaks to the audience and that speaks to the people who are performing it in a contemporary way, so that the relation, the connection with the work makes more sense.
Also because we are always seeing very old pieces that are being, opera is a little crystallized in itself. People, the audience is seeking almost exclusively for operas that are 100 years old. I think maybe, don't you think it's time to tell stories from the present, since opera was always a mirror of society, and we need that contemporaneity like in the other art forms, like in the cinema, we go to see cinemas from today. Don't you think that should be a major investment in the opera literature of today? That
I mean, there is an effort. Of course, there are great contemporary composers. Unfortunately, it's very hard to keep one title, a modern title, contemporary title, going on and on.
Why?
But there are good examples of these modern operas, contemporary operas, that are still being performed in different theaters around the world with success. I do believe that, of course, music has gone through different paths. Also because, you know, contemporary music is very specific and has become incredibly intellectual.
Yeah,
I think there is a
the key
good
word.
moment now to go back to a melodic, you know, with everything that we've learned. Literature has done
and
that.
to the truth of the music. I think the truth and the voice of the composer is much more interesting than a conceptual exercise, no?
Yes, but that I would not say that modern composers or contemporary composers don't have truth, because they also have truth, and they also have...
Everyone has
artistic-
truth.
You know, Mahler was modern in his time. Mozart became modern.
But it was in the center of society also. I think today is a little bit apart, the contemporary music, but I hope it's gonna change, because we really need the stories of today. And speaking about a wonderful story, let's speak a little bit about the magic flute. I know in the future you're going to be a papageno. And it's so wonderful that this opera is 200 years old and is still the most beloved opera of all time. Why do you think? Give me some key elements to explain this phenomenon. Most performed, correction. It's the most performed
Zauberflöte is the
opera,
most
yeah.
performed. Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, I didn't know that, and I'm not surprised, because I mean, it has a very interesting message, and it is magical. I mean, Mozart achieved to make it magical. It interests younger generations, children. Of course, there are marionette performances of it. But it's also a very mysterious opera, and it has also a very, lots of messages inside.
Levels of
Mozart was a
messages.
man of the Enlightenment, and I think the Masonic side of Zauberflöte is undeniable. And of course, the melodies and the characters. Mozart, one should never try to look for Mozart in his works, because I think there's a detachment of what he did. And yet there are some pieces that one can hear, okay, maybe here we do have some of what Mozart was inside. And I do believe that Zauberflöte has a little bit of that. Has the seriousness and the sublime that this soul and this incredible genius had in himself, and it then has in Papageno the
Humor
really, you
and
know, yeah, the
lightness
and the ludic and the playfulness and the joyful approach to life that Mozart had during his whole life, even in the saddest moments. And so, yeah, and I think that is what you perceive in Zauberflöte already from the overture, and the choruses, and of course the Queen of the Night aria that everybody. But the beauty of the characters, the lines, the slow moments, the little kids in there, the dragon. Everything combines there in such a way that you can grab a lot of messages and a lot of light as well. It brings a lot of light, which is what Mozart does.
Well, you also have a lot of light, my dear. Thank you so much for these great and full of light confessions.
Thank you.
And continue to surprise us in everything you do.
Always.
Always a super, super diva.
Thank you so much.